If you're a coach or consultant who's either new to LinkedIn or you've been on the platform but haven't really gained any real traction, you're probably wondering to yourself, where do I even start? Like, what should I actually focus on first? And how do I build momentum without wasting months spinning my wheels? Now, here's the truth. The first 90 days on LinkedIn are critical because this is where you build your foundation. This is really where you establish your positioning and create the momentum that compounds into authority. But most people approach LinkedIn randomly. They post inconsistently, they don't really have a clear strategy, and then they wonder why they're not getting any results. And then 6 months later, they're still invisible. So over the course of this video, I'm going to give you a complete 90-day roadmap for building authority on LinkedIn from scratch. So I'll break down exactly what to focus on in each 30-day phase, from optimizing your profile to creating strategic content to building meaningful connections. And it's the same roadmap that I wish I had when I started on LinkedIn. And it's the same framework that's helped many of our clients go from zero to building recognizable authority in just 90 days. It's also the exact same approach that I use to build a presence of over 55,000 followers on the platform, as you can see on screen, and over 10 million impressions over the course of the last year, along with one of our clients here gaining over 4,000 new followers in just the last 30 days. So with all of that said, let's dive in with the core problem first and foremost, which is based around the fact that most people waste their first 90 days on LinkedIn. They end up approaching the platform without a real plan. So then they post randomly and they connect with anyone who sends a request and wonder why nothing's actually working. Then 3 months later, you've made zero progress. Now, here's why that happens. It's because they're trying to do everything at once. They're posting, engaging, optimizing their profile, building connections, experimenting with different strategies, all at the same time. And because they're scattered, nothing's really working. And then it's easy to get a bit overwhelmed, frustrated, and just ready to quit and toss it to the side. Now, the second part of the problem is that most people focus on the wrong things. So they obsess over follower count, they chase viral posts and spend hours on tactics that don't move the needle. But follower count doesn't actually pay the bills, and viral posts don't necessarily mean that you're building sustainable authority if you don't necessarily know what you're doing and how you're going about your strategy. So what matters is really building a strong foundation, right? Clear positioning, strategic content, and meaningful connections. Now, here's the truth with this. The first 90 days on LinkedIn should be focused and intentional. You don't need to do everything, but you do need to do the right things in the right order. And when you have a clear roadmap, you can start to build momentum quickly. You pretty much go from invisible to visible and from unknown to recognized and from zero to authority. So what is the roadmap? What should you focus on in each 30-day phase? That's what we're going to break down in the next 3 steps here. So days 1 to 30 are really all about building your foundation. So this is where you optimize your profile, you really get clear on your positioning, and then you start building that initial network. So you're not necessarily focused on going viral or attracting thousands of followers. You're more focused on getting the fundamentals right. So here's what I need you to accomplish over the next 30 days. The first task is to optimize your LinkedIn profile. So your profile is your digital storefront. It's really when someone lands on it, they should immediately understand who you serve, what problem you solve, and why they should work with you. So here's what to optimize. First of all is your headline. And you can use a formula like this. I help specific niche achieve specific outcome without common pain point. So an example in this case could be, I help B2B coaches to generate 50K per month from LinkedIn without cold outreach or paid ads. Now, your about section, you could then use the problem solution proof framework. So what this means is that you'd open with their pain point, you'd then present your solution and then back it up with results. So an example of this could be, if you're a coach tired of cold outreach, you're not alone. The solution isn't more outreach, it's building authority on LinkedIn. Over the last year, I've helped clients to generate over 100 million impressions and attract thousands of qualified inbound leads. And then you've got your featured section as well on LinkedIn, where you can pin your best case studies, testimonials, or any high value content that you have. So this gives visitors immediate proof that you can actually get results. Now, the second task is to define your content pillars. So I want you to identify the 5 to 7 core topics that you'll talk about repeatedly. These should be a mix of pain points that your ideal client experiences, solutions that you offer, and mindset shifts that they need to adopt. So some example pillars in my particular case could be LinkedIn profile optimization, organic lead gen, content strategy, positioning, cold outreach, burnout, quality over quantity, or authority over ads, right? Now, the third task is to build then your initial network. So I want you to send 10 to 15 personalized connection requests each day to people who fit your ideal client profile, right? And you can either send them a blank request, or I do recommend that you send the first batches that you're going to do over the initial weeks in a personalized way. So if you wanted a template for this, you could say something like, hi name, I came across your profile and noticed your specific detail about their role/company. I've been working with niche on specific problem and I thought it would be valuable to connect. Looking forward to following your journey. Now, by the end of 30 days, you should have a fully optimized profile that converts visitors into connections, 5 to 7 clear content pillars, and 300 to 450 new connections who fit your ideal client profile. Now, that's just your initial foundation, and that allows you to start to be ready to really start to ramp up your content production. So days 31 to 60 are all about building visibility. And this is where you start posting consistently and engaging strategically. So you're not focused right now on trying to go viral. You're much more focused on trying to build momentum and establish yourself as someone who actually shows up with value. So here's what I need you to accomplish between days 31 and 60. The first task is to post 3 times per week. So use the content pillars that you defined in your first 30 days. Rotate between different content types to keep the content varied. So for example, Monday could be a tactical post, which is where you teach something actionable. Wednesday could be a proof post where you share a case study or a result. Friday could be a perspective post where you share a contrarian take or a mindset shift. Now, don't overthink it. Just give yourself 15 minutes to write out each post and hit publish. Done is better than perfect in this particular case, right? Now, the second task is to engage 15 minutes per day. And this is critical because posting alone won't build visibility. You need to engage strategically. And here's the 15-minute engagement framework. In 5 minutes, comment on posts from your ideal clients. So find people who fit your ideal client profile, engage with their content, and leave thoughtful, value-adding comments. The next 5 minutes to comment on posts from recognized authorities in your space. This gets you in front of their audience, which could be thousands of your ideal clients. And then in the next 5 minutes, respond to every comment on your own post. Deepen the conversation, ask follow-up questions, and build relationships. Even if it takes you a little bit longer, this is a great use of your time. So just go through that structure, take those steps, and you'll absolutely reap the benefits from it. Now, the third task is that I need you to track what's actually working. So at the end of the 60 days, review your analytics, think about and look at which posts have gotten the most engagements, which topics actually resonated, and which content types perform the best. Then use this data to refine your content strategy for the next 30 days. Now, by the end of the 60 days, you should have published 24 posts, starting to build momentum and visibility from that. You would have engaged consistently with your ideal clients and authorities in your space, and you would have identified which content types and topics actually resonate the most with your audience. Now, that's visibility. And now that you've done that, now you're ready to start converting that visibility into actual lead flow. So days 61 to 90 are all about building momentum and converting visibility into leads. And this is when you double down on what's working, you start converting profile views into conversations, and you position yourself for long-term success. So here's what you need to accomplish in days 61 to 90. The first task is to double down on what's actually working. So when you look at your analytics from the first 60 days, identify your top performing posts and content types, and then create more of that. For example, if your case study post got the most engagement, then create more case studies. And if your contrarian takes resonated, then create more contrarian content. So don't necessarily reinvent the wheel, just do more of what's already working. Now, the second task is to start converting visibility into leads. So by now, you should start to have gotten some profile views, some post engagement and connection requests, and it's time to start converting that visibility into conversation. So here's the conversation framework. The first step is to identify your warm leads. So look for people who have engaged with multiple posts, they've left thoughtful comments or viewed your profile, because these are going to be some of your warmest leads. The second step is to reach out to them via direct message, and you can use the value first DM framework here. You can say something like, hey name, I've noticed that you've been engaging with my content on topic. I'm curious, what's been the biggest challenge with specific problem? I've been working with niche on this exact issue and have seen some interesting patterns. Happy to share what's been working if it's been helpful. Now, the third step is then to deliver value. So when they respond, share a quick actionable insight. Don't pitch your services at this point, just be helpful. And then the fourth step, you want to invite them to a call. So if they respond positively, make the invitation. You could say something like, if it's helpful, I'd be happy to jump on a quick call and walk you through a few strategies that have worked for niche in your situation. Here's a link to grab 15 minutes, and then you put your calendar link, right? Now, the third task here is at the end of the 90 days, you should really start to have had some momentum because you're posting consistently, you get an engagement, and you're starting to attract leads. So now it's time to plan the next 90 days. So you want to ask yourself, what content type should I create more of? What topic should I go a little bit deeper on? How can I actually increase my engagement and my visibility? And what systems can I build to make this more sustainable? Now, by the end of the 90 days, you should really have momentum and visibility. You should have some inbound leads and a clear plan for the next 90 days. And really, that would complete your roadmap. You've got the foundation, the visibility, and the momentum. So let's put all of this together now, right? Days 1 to 30 is building your foundation. Optimize your profile, that's your headline, your about section, your featured section. Define your content pillars, which is 5 to 7 of your core topics, and build your initial network, so 300 to 450 targeted connections. Now, between days 31 and 60, then build your visibility through your content. So post at least 3 times per week, a tactical post, a proof one, and a perspective one. Engage at least 15 minutes per day with your ideal clients, authorities, and your own posts, and then track what's working, review your analytics, and then refine. And then between days 61 and 90, this is about building momentum and converting. So double down on what's working, create more of your top performing content, start converting that visibility into leads. So identify your warm leads, reach out via DM, and then invite to calls, and then plan your next 90 days. So refine your strategy based on results. Now, once you've started to do that, you can get to a point where you can really accelerate your journey. So here's what this would look like in practice. Let's just, for example, say that you're a consultant who helps financial advisors and you're starting from scratch on LinkedIn. Between days 1 and 30, you're going to have optimized your profile with a headline like, I help financial advisors to attract high net worth clients on LinkedIn without cold calling. You define your content pillars, right? So in this case, it could be LinkedIn profile optimization and organic lead gen, cold calling burnout, authority over cold calling, quality over quantity. And then you send 10 to 15 personalized connection requests each day to financial advisors. So by day 30, you've got over 400 new connections. Now, between days 31 and 60, you're posting 3 times per week. So Monday is a tactical post on optimizing your LinkedIn headline. Wednesday is a case study of a financial advisor who attracted 10 high net worth clients in 90 days. And Friday is your contrarian take on why cold calling is dead. You engage 15 minutes per day, and then by day 60, you've published 24 posts and you're starting to get consistent engagement. Then between days 61 and 90, you double down on your case study posts because they're the ones getting the most engagement. You identify 10 warm leads who have engaged with multiple posts, and then you reach out via DM, deliver value, and invite all 3 of them to calls. By day 90, you book 2 discovery calls with qualified prospects. Now that's the 90-day roadmap: foundation, visibility, and momentum. When you follow this plan, you'll end up going from 0 to authority in only 90 days. Now, before I do wrap up, I want to call out 3 common mistakes that people often make in their first 90 days on LinkedIn. So avoid these and it will really help to accelerate your results. Now, the first mistake is trying to do everything at once. And this can be a big mistake because they try to post every day, engage for hours, build a massive network, and experiment with 10 different strategies all simultaneously. Then they get overwhelmed, give up, and toss LinkedIn to the side. So the solution here is to actually follow the roadmap. Follow this based on one phase at a time. Foundation between the first 30 days. The next 30 days is about visibility, and the final 30 days is about momentum. Don't jump too far ahead unless you were an agency or have been on the platform for many years like myself. That's the only circumstance in which you should really start to jump ahead. Now, the second mistake is obsessing over your follower count, because people think that success on LinkedIn means having thousands of followers, so they chase that count instead of building meaningful connections. But follower count doesn't necessarily pay the bill. Quality connections do. So I want you to more so focus on building a targeted network based around your ideal clients in that first 90 days. That's more valuable than 5,000 random followers. So of course, if you have a greater volume of followers that are high quality and within your niche, that's the ideal. But I want you to focus on quality versus quantity. The third mistake is just giving up too early. Most people quit before day 30 because they just feel like they're not seeing results. But 30 days isn't enough time to build momentum. Authority can take time. So the solution is really to commit to the full 90 days, trust the process, and the results will compound over time. And if you avoid these three mistakes, your first 90 days will really set you up for long-term success. So if you go about doing this, you're going to have a strong foundation with an optimized profile, clear positioning, and a network of your ideal clients. You're going to become much more visible because of the consistency of your posting, and you're going to have much more momentum. By day 90, you're not just visible, but you'll start attracting leads. And it's the exact same process that I leverage, especially during the early days of myself on LinkedIn, which has now set me up for having over 55,000 qualified followers on the platform, over 10 million impressions on the platform, having reached over 1 million members last year alone. And we've got clients that have gained 4,000 qualified followers in just 30 days, having followed these types of practices, enabling them to attract high quality inbound leads. So we know that this does work as long as you commit to the process. Now, if you do want to accelerate your results, if you want a system that actually handles the profile optimization, the content creation, your posting, your engagement, so you can more so focus on serving clients, then you need a full LinkedIn media engine behind you, really a done for you system that actually executes this 90-day roadmap much faster and in a more accelerated manner, with a real focus on quality to just basically speed up your time to the result so you can use that time for other things. The same exact engine that's driven over 100 million impressions for our clients. So if you do want a full breakdown of how that works, I want you to drop a comment below with the word 90 days, and I'll send you a completely free breakdown of exactly what this would look like to really ramp up and accelerate your journey to the result. Of course, this video will help you to get off ground zero and really help you to progress and get some initial movement here. But if you do want to move quicker, just drop the words 90 days in the comment section below, and we'll get this free breakdown sent over to you to really ramp up and speed run your time towards a result. Now, I hope that you found this video helpful. If you have, please do make it known, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.